We're joined once again with Marc, president of Eat Well Group, to discuss their newest addition to their vertically integrated plant-based company, Amara Organic Foods. We then dive into their update of their business and the reaffirmation of their goal of reaching $60 million in revenue for 2021, as well as some incredible global advisors they brought onto their team as well. Marc, welcome back.
Brandon, it's great to be with you and share our latest update with your audience.
Yeah, and it's a really exciting one too. And I'd like to start with that because you recently just announced your majority stake acquisition of Amara Organic Foods, a rapidly growing plant-based baby foods brand already selling in major retailers like Walmart and Costco. What led to this acquisition, and how does this fit into your company's overall business strategy?
Absolutely. Listen, we couldn't be more delighted to have the Amara team join the Eat Well family. By acquiring this majority stake, we are rounding out that model that I shared with you and your audience before. By design, we've created a vertically integrated farm to market model. That means we have scale supply, which we'll update you on in a moment. We have food tech with our vegan Cheetos and other extrusion technology through Sapientia, and we're developing more and more of a CPG basis and foundation for growth. So Amara fits that last major link in the chain, but there'll be a lot more to come over the next several months and years to be sure. So Amara fits a couple of critical things in our thesis, and this is something we shared with your audience and investors before. We look at unique spaces that are not already commoditized with plant-based foods. Baby food, infant nutrition is such a space. Believe it or not, it's a $41 billion category, and it's still full of legacy dairy-type businesses, legacy processed foods. Amara brings something incredible to the table, and that's why we've had them join the team. If I could, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about their business and their products. Amara started with a critical insight, which is nutrition in the microbiome. So just to be a bit technical, starts in the gut with kids from age 0 to 7. So when you figure out that insight and you marry it with clean plant-based food tech, which is what this group has done, you have baby food that's whole plant nutrition. It's not highly processed. It's fruits, it's veggies, it's plant-based proteins. It comes in 2 product groups, and you can learn more at amaraorganicfoods.com. That's the best place to go, is amaraorganicfoods.com. They have cereal-type products, which you can mix in with breast milk or water or formula, as mom and dad like, or plant-based smoothie melts. So like the traditional yogurt smoothie melts, but plant-based. These are clean products. They're organic, and they're led by a female CEO and entrepreneur team that are absolutely fantastic. We'll have to introduce your audience to them at some point. They have healthy gross margins, and like you said earlier, they have got a real proof in the pudding with use cases in the market. They tested at Costco earlier this year and absolutely exceeded Costco's core benchmarks, and we'll have big news to share in the first quarter of next year as they scale that product line at one of the most important retailers in North America. They have a direct-to-consumer business through their website or through Amazon e-commerce, which is a strong business as well. And they have multiple growth levers through brick-and-mortar retail at places like H-E-B in Texas, that's like the Walmart of Texas, as well as conversations with folks in Loblaws in Canada. So the business is growing like gangbusters, but it's a differentiated business. It's got food tech, it's got real insight on how infant nutrition works, and the velocities are really off the charts. They'll help us grow our full vertically integrated model. We'll continue to work with that team to globalize the business through some of our ecosystem partners. And I'll tell you, the product pipeline is very long. We'll be growing with Amara for years to come.
Yeah, very exciting about that. And as you continue to add to your company, like you just spoken upon, and just recently as well, you gave actually a corporate update, and that was packed with a lot of information for investors to know about. I'd like to focus on that because you finally made known some of your partners, and some of them are massive, like Ingredion and General Mills.
You're right, Brandon. So when I talk to you about Amara and that retail commercial end of the business that we fill out, we're talking about people like Costco, players like Costco, which is a key strategic play. And that'll add double-digit top-line growth to our business next year at a strong gross margin profile. And that marries right up with the scale of effort we have with Bell Pulses. So we shared an operational update just recently, and we note to you that we are growing relationships with critical customers on the B2B side. That's General Mills, that's Ingredion, a New York Stock Exchange traded Fortune 500, one of the largest ingredient sales and distribution companies in North America, with Nestle, with Colgate. The business is doing fantastic, over 30% growth in the last 2 months since we closed the deal with Eat Well Group. And that's driven by capturing the tailwinds in plant-based foods. Like we said, we're still in the first inning. So we have tailwinds in the business. We have a leadership team that's grown their customer relationships really powerfully. Why? It's decades of relationship, and it's the quality behind the brand name of Bell Pulses, it's customer service, and we have some proprietary technology in how we process the pulses. We won't go too deep in that detail, but essentially you have a real clean and efficient way of processing these pulses. So when we're talking to General Mills or we're talking to Nestle, they appreciate the quality of our product, and that's going into both human food and pet food. The vegan pet food, which is narrow, we supply to multiple pet foods, but that market is expected to double. And so we have multiple uses for our end products. As a quick reminder, Bell is all about pulses. So green peas, yellow peas, fava beans, chickpeas. We're growing the core business and chickpea and fava bean, some of the newer emerging trends at a premium margin. And we're doing that at a whole crop concept with human and pet food. And that's something that we're so proud of that team. They're extremely well led. They have good pricing discipline, excellent customer service, and we continue to be globally growing with over 35 countries in our distribution network.
Yeah, and you spoke about being global, but also your team. I want to focus on that for just a moment because you've recently had some incredible additions to your global advisory team with Saudi Arabian Prince Khaled, but more recently with food innovation pioneer Dan Prefontaine as well. What do these two mean to your company, and how are they going to be involved in growing your company into what you envision Eat Well Group to be?
Absolutely. I think we've said similar things before when we first met your audience, which is our leadership is what sets us apart. We're not new to the business. We're just new to a lot of these audiences. What that means is we've cultivated relationships with, truly speaking, pioneers and architects in this space. So let me speak to Dan in a moment here. Dan Prefontaine is the president of the Saskatchewan Food Center. He's helped over 400 companies develop over 900 products over the last 15 to 20 years. And we're talking about name brand products that you eat today in burgers or in milks. And 12 of the 15 top consumer packaged goods companies in the world consider him a friend and an advisor. So Dan is a very close friend to us. He helps us think through processing capabilities, food technologies, new opportunities for acquisition, consumer product development, and growth. And he's signed on to be a strategic advisor, and he'll be on board with us right now. The other real pioneer in the space is Prince Khaled bin Al-Walid of KBW Ventures. Prince Khaled is, again, one of these pioneers in the space. He is vegan and is driven by nutrition security in the Middle East, animal welfare, as well as certainly globally. He's invested in some name brand startups that your audience would know, and we are the only public advisory board he's joined. Again, Prince Khaled is a friend of decades and someone who helps us think through our business model, globalizing our company reach, driving new products, nutrition security. And these folks are here for the long run. As I think I've tried to mention before to your audience, we are not entrepreneurs who just showed up to be opportunistic in this space. We are pioneers and architects and leaders of this space. So with those two gentlemen joining us, we've announced this over the last few weeks. We just executed our name change over the last few weeks. We're now talking to you about our first acquisition and excellent performance out of Bell Pulses, our scale investment. All of these things have happened in a short period of time, and they will continue to happen as we grow our platform.
Yeah, very excited once again. And Marc, I appreciate very much for your time. You've done a lot since you've really started making this name change and really start pushing into this space. I'm excited to hear about what's coming up in the near future as well. I'm sure we'll have you right back on to discuss it when you have more updates for investors. So thank you once again for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon.